what up, Scallywags? I just come out here in the garage for a minute. I got cabin fever. Feeling a little, I don't even know what word to use for it. A little, I don't know what word to use. I guess I feel a lot of sparks up inside of me. A lot of frustration, anger. So I figured I'd come out here with Rosie and get out of the house for a minute. That way I don't. A lot of times when I'm mentally not in a good place, I try to, I don't know, just distance myself a little bit from people I love, because all too often when we're upset or whatever, we can have a bad habit of attacking the people that mean the most to us. So when I'm feeling real hair trigger, I try to just get along with my thoughts, you know. I was just watching old Krupp. I like Krupp. He's hitting that stage in life where he's starting to get that worldly experience that I always talk about. I really feel like hopping on the bike right now and going for a ride, but I hate riding when it's dark out. My reflexes have slowed down a lot, and all the potholes and everything else, I'd really like to get on that bike though and just hit the highway and fucking roll that throttle back a little bit. I would like that a lot. But I can't always do what I want to do. What's that movie? I think it might be Gladiator. He says some of the times I get to do what I want to do, but most of the time I do what I have to do. Everything's making me real on edge tonight though. Everything. And when I get like this, Amy gets to wanting to be right there, you know. She notices the energy, and she wants to be right there because she loves me. And when I get like this, the last thing I want is I just need my space when I get like this. And that's one of the good things about being honest with yourself is I know who I am. I know my strong points. I know my weak points. And my weak points are when I get like this, I can get real hair trigger. You know, Amy, I don't worry about putting hands on her, but I don't want to say anything that out of anger or when none of it's her fault. You know, everything I'm feeling, it don't have nothing to do with her. But she senses the change in the energy, and she wants to be right there. Just everything makes me. I'm just real agitated, and I know myself, so I figured I'd come out here a little bit. But then I'm out here and I'm looking at that bike and I'm like, man, I want to get on that fucking bike and just roll. I would love to just get out on the highway and roll that throttle back, and they would take it all away, but I don't do my wife no good that neither. And like I said, my reflexes are not what they used to be. And these roads, I put a video up last week of, you could see the wire mesh. You can see right through the bridge. I mean, you hit that on a bike, you're done. Or you're going to wish you were done. But, I don't know. I just need to get out of that house for a minute. I guess the way I kind of feel right now is it's been on YouTube, that video. I'm sure most people have probably even seen it. It's that guy, he's sitting outside and he's got that little square tubing metal piece with all that wire wrapped around it. And his wife's like, what are you doing out here? Are you okay? And he's talking about how the wire, he bought it like 40 years ago. It used to be a bunch on there, and there's barely any left on there. And he's like, you know, this little bit of wire is kind of represents, you know, most of my life is gone, and there's just a little bit left. And he was going through that deep thinking stage there, and it don't seem like I ever get out of the deep thinking stage. I'm just always, it's not enough just to see the surface the way my brain works. I'm just always deep diving on everything. And I'm already short on breath, you know. I don't need to be going deep diving on everything. It's not enough for me just to see the surface. And I think too deep on everything because I got too much time on my hands. I don't know. Just got a lot of hurt in my heart. That's our lot as men, though, you know. With this empathy shit, empath shit I got going on, most of my male friends, I'll be feeling some shit coming off of them. I'll be like, you alright, man? And it's just automatic reaction for us men, you know. We just say we're fine when we might not be. We always say we're fine. I always say that women in this country, they got the mind fuck of everybody. You know, you got to fit that Barbie doll body type image, you know, and it really fucked a lot of women's heads up, being obsessed with how they look and really really did a mental fuck over on a lot of women. And then us men, we were emotionally neutered, you know. A man can never feel pain, can never feel hurt, nothing like that. We gotta be strong all the time, which is a mind fuck. So I do all my crying in the shower. But almost all, man. How you doing, man? Oh, I'm all right. It's what society has taught us that, we got to be strong all the time. Which is bad enough, but being strong when you don't feel like you got much strength left is a real mind fuck. I don't know. I don't know. Nate Dogg come home last night, so it's good to have my brother back. He was out on like a hoathon. That was a long expedition even for Nate Dogg. He got good news though. The second time I did it with him once, and second time he went through the courts. So he's got visitation rights again, and this time he ain't gonna let the bitch get away with playing games with it. I was really happy to hear that. I miss Cheyenne too, Nate's daughter. One of the most beautiful pictures I have of my wife, Amy. It's Amy and Cheyenne. When we first come back from Arizona, Nate's daughter was just a little peanut, little bitty thing. And Amy was holding her, and Amy was laughing, and the baby was laughing, and it's a beautiful picture of two really beautiful, spirited human beings. If I was a painter, and that was a painting I painted, I would call it Two Beautiful Souls Recognize Each Other. They were both just belly laughing, both of them. I love that picture. That's why when I feel like I feel right now, I try to stay away from Amy as much as I can, because last thing I want to do is hurt that woman verbally, mentally, any kind of way. When I get to feeling like this, I feel like just even the dog's barking and flipping out, at everything that moves down the street. Every sound, man, it's just, I feel like a rabid dog just wanting to explode. But I learned a long time ago, the exploding, it don't do nothing but give you more shit to fix. Sometimes it feels good letting it all out, but choices and consequences. Been saying that for a long time. That's why I'm not riding that bike tonight, even though I want to so badly. That's why I'm out here in the garage. I know myself, and I set up roadblocks to protect myself and people I love from me. One of my weak points, like I said, when I get like this, man, I just very, very volatile. And what sucks worse than being frustrated and angry and a lot of anxiety is when you say things to hurt people you love, and then you got the guilt of doing that. But that's progress. There was a time I didn't even have guilt. But with that being put on Ritalin so young, and that frontal cortex not as developed as it's supposed to be, and not as many neurotransmitters, I have to be real careful, because you don't want the body or the mouth to get ahead of your thinking, you know. So, and then, you know, when I sense something's wrong with her, my reaction is to want to be right there with her, trying to comfort her, and that's her reaction. She wants to be right there trying to comfort me, but when I feel like I feel now, it just, I just need space. So many things going through my head, I can't even begin to organize them or sort them out. I've had a few people that know me in real life tell me I should write a book on my life, but I've tried. And it's too much. It's just too much. I can't keep track of everything, when it happened, how it happened. So much of it's a blur anyways. Some of the shit that I forgot about that people have reminded me of is probably crazier than some of the shit most people have done their entire life. But I do know myself, and I don't bullshit myself. I'm honest with myself. And that's why Mark don't drink, because moods like I'm in right now, if I was drinking, it'd be a very bad thing. I'd be waking up in jail for sure. Or dead. Nowadays, people they don't even fight no more. They just shoot you. They just fucking shoot you. I can hear them crickets. It's kind of peaceful. I gotta get me another key for the tank. See, it's got those two grooves in there, and it fits in there. It almost looks like a bottle opener, but I lost it. Fucking copper. Been trying to get a hold of my buddy Shane, worried about him. They were having some problems, and I told him and his old lady could come here until they got him straightened out, but I don't know. I need to do something while I'm out here. I thought that was, I seen something moving out the corner of my eye down there. My peripheral is good, real good. If I'm looking straight ahead, I can see damn near behind me a little bit. I got real good peripheral. That comes from always being on defense your whole life. Well, not my whole life, but I started making serious enemies around 17, 18. And then you always got to be on defense. Arizona, after about 4 years, I put my defense down. I was a no-name. I was a nobody, just a no-name. It was really peaceful being a no-name. My buddy Boots, it's been a couple years ago, on Facebook, he said, "Crazy horse," and I said, "That the person you knew is that? I don't like when people call me that." Number one, I don't deserve that name. The man that had that name in real life was more of a warrior, more of a spiritual man, more of a lover of his people than I ever was or ever will be. I don't deserve that name, but that was my street name, and he called me that, and I told him, I said, the person you used to call that, he died, and his ass is buried out there in that desert somewhere, and I hope he don't never come back. Because that person was an asshole. And you'll notice when you get kinder and you'll notice that a lot of people get less respectful. And I've thought about that too. I'd rather have one person that liked me because I was a decent human being and I was a good person than have 100 people that respected me because they feared me. I'd rather have one person that loved me because I was a decent human being. And if YouTube teaches you anything, it'll be that ain't everybody gonna like you. That's for damn sure. It don't matter what you do, don't matter what your message is. There's gonna be somebody that don't like you. It's just the way of the world. It's the way things are. There ain't nothing. You know, no matter what stance you got on this, that, or the other, there's some fucker that ain't gonna like it. A few friends that I watched their channels, I noticed, you know, the trolls, the trolls are never fucking ending. They just keep on coming, and it's like, I don't know. They never stop, but fucking trolls. The school I was raised in, like my homie Nate Dogg, where we grew up, arguing with somebody on the telephone or on the internet, it would be seen as just fucking serious weakness, is what it would be seen as. Going and fucking with men, you know, on the internet. I see it as weak. You know, it's real simple the way I see YouTube. There's some channels I've watched that I didn't like. And I didn't run my mouth about those channels. I didn't hop in their lives and be a little fucking dickhead just to try to get under their skin and fuck with them. I just didn't watch them anymore. Because fucking with them and arguing with them on the internet and fucking with them in their live streams, it's just, I don't know, where I grew up and the way I was raised, that's just weak as fuck, man. It makes you look weak. And it makes you look silly. It's like that time. Shit, it was me, Bobby, Nate. And I think Shane wasn't in the car. Me, Bobby, Nate, and Johnny, that's who it was. We were heading to poker night, and I needed to stop and get some I needed to get some fucking money out of the ATM, some poker money, and I usually go to my bank because, the bank, they don't charge you that extra money. You get it out of other ATMs. They give you a fine and, any little thing to nickel dime a dude to death and take everything they can from you. But, I stopped at this gas station. What made it even worse is Johnny had a bunch of shrooms and I did like a couple grams of shrooms and they were just starting to kick in and we walk up. I walk up, but as soon as I pull in, there's women and children running out of this gas station. I mean, running out of the gas station. Women and children are fleeing. And I needed my money. And so I go in and I didn't look there, but I heard two dudes just screaming at each other. And my eyes were on the ATM, I went to the ATM. That's what I was there to do. And I'm trying to figure this ATM out and I'm getting aggravated with it. And I almost yelled at the top of my lungs, shut the fuck up. I mean, they were just kept going at it, screaming and yelling at each other. And I almost screamed, shut the fuck up. But as I turned, I looked and these are like 6'2", 240 plus pound men, big dudes. And I tapped down, I had on my carpenter pants where they got that little slot there on the side. You can put a utility knife in or something. And I tapped there to see if I had my butterfly knife on me, and I did. And I remember thinking, mental note, if you start hearing that thunk, 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 the sound of two men going at it, you better pay attention where these big boys are because they're going to be moving some shit around in here. Next thing I know, here comes my homie, Bobby. He's like, man, Mark, let's get out of here, bro. I said, I'm trying to get my fucking money, man. He goes, dude, the cops are going to be here. I said, I don't care. I ain't doing nothing. I got to worry about the cops. He goes, please, Mark. And so we ended up leaving, but we get out of the car and they're like, damn, man, fucking bitches and kids are running out of the fucking gas station. And there goes Mark. He's got to go and get his ATM money. I had to stop somewhere else. But yeah, it's just because afterwards I was thinking about it. I was like, man, they must have, I'm talking probably 4 minutes, 5 minutes solid. These two big ass dudes just nose to nose screaming at each other. And I'm sorry, but it just looks weak as fuck, man. And at least they were nose to nose. They were there in each other's presence. But when these people hop in people's channels and start, see me, I don't care because I don't give a shit what these motherfuckers, that are out there being little trolls think. It doesn't matter to me what they think. They're not part of my life. I don't do my YouTube because I want to build my channel up huge or I want to impress people. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. My life is what it is and what it's gonna be, and I'm just dealing with the whole mortality thing and everything else. That's the nice thing about getting old. You get to the point where you really don't give a shit. That peer pressure goes out the window. It don't matter what people think about me. As long as my wife and my God and my children and my friends, as long as they think I'm a decent human being, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. But I get aggravated. I've always been that way. Nate Dogg's the exact same way too. I get more angry when somebody fucks with somebody I care about than when they fuck with me. My whole life, most of my fights were because somebody fucked with somebody I cared about. And, they fucked with me. A lot of times I wouldn't, it makes me angrier when it's somebody else because I always had the attitude, well, I'm a piece of shit. I deserve to be fucked with, And it didn't make me as angry, but when they fuck with people that are good people that I care about it, then I get angrier. Nate's the same way. We'll flip out over somebody we care about quicker than ourselves. But you know, Krupp's one of those people. It's like Dolly, Rocky. I can crust it. I can name off all kinds of them. All the channels I watch, really. I mean, they're all good people. John P. You know, he's positive all the time and kind. And it's like Harvey Talks Prison, Eric Swanson. I mean, I could go on and on naming off channels. But these guys are putting out a good, positive message. And, you know, it's like Flacco. You know, him and Rojo had a channel, and then they went their separate ways. And he had some people, Big Flacco had some people that were watching his channel. Let's see, if you're putting a, then he had some problems where allegedly, you know, some people got shot by him, and then all of a sudden everybody's jumping in wanting to watch his channel. And it's like, you know, when the dude's putting out a good positive message, nobody wants to jump in there and listen. But as soon as he shoots somebody, or allegedly shot somebody, then all of a sudden motherfuckers want to hop up in there, you know, and start watching. It makes me aggravated sometimes that the people that got a good message, people don't want to watch that. They're all into the drama and the arguments and stirring the shit pot, and I've seen that a bunch too. There'll be two people going at it, and everybody else around them just stirs the pot, and keeps it going and eggs them on. And it's like in school, you know, you always had them motherfuckers. They'd be stirring the shit up, but they didn't want to get in there and get their fucking self bloodied up. They always wanted to see a fight, but you never see them fighting. And I'm a true believer that whoever stirs the shit pot, you should be made to lick the fuck out of the proverbial spoon. I don't like people to stir the shit pot. They get on my nerves. But it just fucking kind of pisses me off, you know, because it's the only time I really get mad on YouTube. Somebody fucks with. I just hate good people getting. You got these fucking little pussy ass bitches, these trolls. They ain't got no fucking life. Probably fucking little fat useless fucks down in mommy and daddy's basement. Fucking got no life. They're miserable. And they gotta go around fucking with good people, putting out a good message just for no reason other than to be a little ignorant fuck. You know, I don't understand people like that. And like I said at the beginning of all this, where I come from, it's called weakness to do that. It's considered weak. Like two guys arguing on the phone, that's weak. Where I come from, grown men, they don't argue. They don't argue. They don't play those stupid games. They just, when they bump into each other, either they get it on or they keep their mouth shut, but they don't argue. They don't go around fucking with people. And anybody who was hanging out with me and my friends, and they were the kind of person that just liked to keep the pot stirred all the time, they be getting their ass beat. I mean, people be lighting them up, saying, man, who the fuck are you? Shut the fuck up. My buddy Troy, he's the one that he killed himself not too long ago. I don't think he meant to. I think it was a cry for help. He he did it with one of those new pellet guns. And I really believe he didn't realize how powerful these new pellet guns are and shit. These O2 guns. But it went through his skull. And pieces of his skull was what did the main damage to his brain. He made it through the original surgery, and then the shit got infected. Everything went downhill. But Troy he was an adrenaline junkie, big time. He had a VMAX motorcycle, and at the time when that thing came out, that was the fastest stock bike off the line. I mean, they were insanely powerful. And Troy's a little bitty guy, like 110, 120 pounds. Boy, he could work that clutch. He'd be going down the highway and pull that big-ass bike up in a wheelie and ride it like miles like that if he had a straightaway. But before he died, some dude put hands on his daughter. Troy's the one. I don't know if I say anything about it on this channel, but on my old channel, me and my son Joshua, my youngest, and Amy, and Nate was there that night. We were over kicking it with Troy, and Troy and Eric had been drinking for a couple of days. Troy come up to me, he's all fucked up. He goes, man, you remember that time that dude pulled a knife out on you and you fucking cut across his stomach and they had to hold his guts in? And I had forgotten about that. I had completely forgotten about it. But here's my son standing right here next to me. And I said, Troy, actually, I forgot about that, but thanks for bringing it up in front of my kids, you know. You don't need to know everything I've done. And that's the night I quit carrying straight razors. I used to carry a straight razor on the left side and then my butterfly knife on the right side, and I carried a boot knife in my sock. And he pulled that knife out on me over a pool game, and I come across with that straight razor, and he had on a flannel shirt and a t-shirt. And it wasn't a very long cut, but all that's under pressure, your intestines and everything. And I remember I went up to get my beer because he went down and was holding his stomach, and the bartender, he told me, he said, you need to go, man, because I went up to get my beer. And I said, well, why? I got a full pitcher of beer here. He said, they're holding his intestines in. And it wasn't a long cut, but there was some trying to push out. And I wasn't wanting to fuck him up like that. I should have. He pulled a knife out on me. But I was just letting him know I wasn't the one to do that to. I was so arrogant back then, I'd leave little marks on your face to remember me by. But Troy, little bitty guy. And my homie Bobby said that Troy had called him. I said, oh yeah, how's he doing this before he shot himself, obviously, but he said, well, he called me, he said he wanted me to ride with him. His daughter, some dude put hands on his daughter, and immediately my brain assumed, and I said, that motherfucker better not have called you up wanting you to go over and fight his fucking fights for him. And Bobby said, well, that's what I was thinking too at first. He said, but we got there, you know, Troy fought his fight, and it was just them two. He just wanted me there for backup. He said he got his ass beat, but he fought his fight, you know, and I said, I'm so proud of him, because I thought for sure he was trying to get my homie, you know, to fight his fight and get himself in trouble. And I love Troy, but Bobby's my brother, and fucking... Yeah, Bobby said, that's what I thought too. And then Bobby said, right as they were getting done fighting, some dude come out of the house next door, and he pulled out a knife, and Bobby said, I was thinking, God, I'm so glad Mark's not here, because I would have been. I'd have been like, oh, you're playing my game now. But yeah, he said, I was thinking, man, I'm so glad Mark's not here. But see, we jumped out there assuming that Troy, you know, both of us, that he was calling wanting us to go with him and knowing we was probably going to end up fighting his fight. And he didn't. And I was very proud of him for that. I mean, I'd always loved Troy, but if he would have been trying to get Bobby to fight his fight, I told him, hey, bro, don't do that. I'm trying to keep the brothers out of jail, you know? Fight your own fight, but I was pleasantly surprised that he did. He lost, but he tried. And I went up to see him after he shot himself, and they had to put mittens on his hands because he was trying to kill himself, pulling shit out, and they had him strapped down to the bed. And I told him, I said, I love you, man. I said, when you get out here, me and you's going to have a little upsy, you know. 'Cause I said, I'm not happy with you right now. But I will always love you. And a tear rolled down his cheeks. He could hear me. And I really, Troy was always laughing and clowning. And he was an adrenaline junkie. He would go rock rappelling and dive head first off of cliffs and shit. There's this one spot, you dive off, and then there's a cave opening. You swing in, you swing out, and then you go down some more. And that's probably 70 foot or so, 80 foot. He'd dive off that thing head first and swing up in that cave and then swing out and then drop down the rest of the way. And he swung in one time and he braked too soon and his head hit the rock there on the cliff. And he started free falling. And he braked right before he hit the ground. He had a rope burn. Went all the way around his front of his chest around to the back. I mean, it just, that rope tore him up. The way he used to ride his bike, bringing that front end up all the time, 80, 90 miles per hour, lifting the front end up on that fucking bike. And that bike was huge. Old VMAX. It was a badass bike. He's a little bitty guy. He'd ride that VMAX like he was riding a lightning bolt out of the sky, man. I mean, just adrenaline junkie supreme. Me and my friend Eric, we went over to his family's family reunion. This is like fall time. The leaves are all on the ground. And we snuck out in the woods to smoke a joint. And I'm standing there and he goes, Mark, don't move. And I said, what? He goes, dude, I'm serious. Do not fucking move. And I'm looking down. I'm looking all around. I don't see nothing. He reaches down and comes up and he's got a copperhead in his hand. Caught a copperhead, was right there by my feet. And I mean, she was so beautiful. The brown and the burgundy colors on the top just blended in so perfectly with those autumn leaves. Just perfect for camouflage. She was beautiful. And Eric took it home. And he had that damn snake, and I didn't know it, but they give live birth, because one day he went to feed her, and there was little baby copperheads in there. But long story short, Bobby, him, and Eric would get, Bobby, Troy, and Eric, they'd get that copperhead out when we were drinking and partying, and they'd hold the damn thing. Bobby had it around his neck one time, and I said, man, get that fucking snake off from around your neck. You get bit, it's going to go straight to your brain or straight to your heart, whether it hits the carotid or the jugular. Troy got bit twice before he quit playing with it. The first time, Troy and Eric got bit the same night, like 5 minutes apart. And at first they're clowning about it, like it's funny. Troy said, man, it almost feels like you're tripping a little bit. They both went to the hospital getting anti-venom. It's fucking crazy, man. I don't know how I got on all that. Because I was talking about You know, how weak it is for people to creep on people's channels and then go in there and try to fuck up the good vibe and just be little colossal assholes. You know, the keyboard warriors, because talking shit in person might be dangerous. It don't bother me when I get them. It can't nobody call me anything that I have not been called at some point in my life. I was told I was a piece of shit from the fucking day I was born. So somebody telling me shit like that, it don't bother me. What I had a hard time with, and I still do, is a compliment. I don't know how to deal with the compliments. My friend Audrey told me one time, she said, "You are awesome and amazing." I said, "You know what? I've been called a lot of fucking things in my life, but never awesome and amazing." I don't know why that just popped in my, see, that's where my brain works. It bounces all over the place. I think I might be getting ready to go into another manic episode. I hope not, my body's tired. But my grandma, that's what popped in my head. It's actually something positive. Our family, my grandma, my dad's mom and dad, they had 4 boys. My father had 3 boys. My Uncle Rick had 1 boy. My Uncle Danny had 3 boys. My Uncle Bobby had 1 boy, 1 girl. I had 3 boys, 1 girl, but there was a lot of men with my last name. And I remember one year for Christmas, my grandma gave all her sons and all her male grandchildren the saying. I don't know who wrote it, if anybody did. It was on a plaque she had it put on. And it had our last name. You know, you could almost write it down for your own son. But it said our last name, and then below it said, "You got it from your father. It was all he had to give, so it's yours to use and cherish for as long as you may live. If you lose the watch he gave you, it can always be replaced, but a black mark on your name, son, can never be erased. It was clean the day he got it, and a worthy name to bear. When he got it from his father, there was no dishonor there. So make sure you guard it wisely. After all is said and done, you'll be glad the name is spotless when you give it to your son." I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it did. My grandma Rose, my dad's mom, her and my mother, I've had a lot of people in my life that I love die. And I miss all of them, but my mom and my grandma Rose, those cuts are still just as deep as the day that they happened. I'll never get over those 2 deaths, because in my life, those were the 2 people that they made it magical. They made the world beautiful. But yeah, that poem's pretty cool. Pretty cool. She gave us all a plaque with that on it. Got to get down, Man, I want to ride so bad. I got to quit thinking about riding, because, like I said, fuck, I'm pushing 60 years old. I used to be fast. I mean, fast. My favorite thing to say before me and somebody was going to fight, and I'm going to be honest, I lost just as many as I've won. That's a fact. I've lost as many as I've won, but I used to always say, I'm going to hit you so hard so fast and so often, you're going to think you're fucking surrounded. And I used to be real quick. I mean, I could be in front of a guy and I could dip down and come up and hit him in the back of the head before he could turn around. I was real fast. But my reflexes, your power, the power of your punch, that's the last thing to go. My reflexes have taken there's a major delay in how fast I react to things. And out there on a bike, especially rolling out the way I feel like rolling out right now, 80 plus, easily 80 plus, with these potholes and things that you can hit on the road on a bike that can really ruin your day. I want to go ride bad. I mean, real bad. But, see, the older, wiser Mark knows that is a dumb idea. That could get me killed. And time's already short enough, It's one of those things in life you gotta think about other people besides yourself. I want real badly to do a lot of things right now. I feel like a time bomb that's just getting ready to explode. And I know I'm bipolar. Tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll be a different day and a different emotions to deal with, but I'm starting to feel a little bit, I'm still agitated, very frustrated, very angry, and I've got some things to be angry about, but it's just old scars that will never go away. I said it before, that's how I deal with my hurt from my childhood, is I try not to go there. It doesn't matter how many psychiatrists I might see or how many meds they put me on. There's no magic bullet. Anytime I go to that place in my head, I go back there, it hurts. It's going to hurt for the rest of my life. Nothing short of a miracle from God or amnesia is going to stop it from hurting. It hurts bad. And I ain't got long. Who knows how long my pops has got. And there's still that rift there between us. I want to see him. I love him. Despite everything, I love him. But I know it won't stop. I know it'll keep happening. I've forgiven so many times. And it never stops. I told you guys I studied psychiatry, but more so to do battle with shrinks, psychiatrists, psychologists. I wanted to try to figure out where they were going, what they were trying to do. The best thing I ever did was learn about my own mental illness, about the bipolar and everything, but whenever I was younger, I was at war with the world, so I studied the stuff for that reason, and you can look it up. It's called a scapegoat. I am most definitely the family scapegoat. It's an extremely dysfunctional family, and I'm the one that eats all the shit. I'm the scapegoat. I'm the one that everything gets pushed on, and instead of people focusing on their own problems, they want to constantly talk about how horrible I am, when I will go farther for a stranger to help them than any one of them will. And that's why I'm not having a funeral. There will be no memorial service. I told Nate Just get the brothers together, go out on the back roads, get a pony barrel or something, drink some beers, and talk about all the times we had together, you know. But I'm not having a funeral because I'm not putting my wife and my kids through that, or my homies. Have people show up. Oh, he could have been so much more. I'm the one that everybody talks shit about. That way they don't have to face their own dysfunctionality and work on themselves, you know. I think that's a lot of reasons why these trolls do what they do. I think they got a lot of hurt. They have no self-esteem. What makes them feel better about themselves is going around fucking with other people because they don't feel that they're worth anything. And I think most of them are probably young kids. I mean, most grown men, at least the grown men I know, they don't waste their time fucking doing pussy ass shit like that. Because it's a waste of time, and also it just makes them look weak. But there's some people, that's their thing, and like I said, don't matter what you do, you can literally end world hunger, and you're gonna have somebody be pissed off at you about it. Oh, now we're not selling as many groceries, or we're not, you know, something. There's going to be somebody pissed off about it. And see, I see things, I'm not better than anybody else, but I see the world differently than most people see the world. Like everything going on in our government right now with politics and everything. Most people see it as black, white, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal. I don't see it as that. I see it as all through history, it's the oldest trick in the book. The people that run things and rule over other people, they say they want you unified, but that's the biggest damn lie in the history of politics. The last thing they want is you unified. See, I pay attention to history, and it does repeat itself because every 100 years you got a new batch of people in the world, and they forget. Man has a very short-term memory, and we forget. That's why history, even if it's bad, should not be torn down and gotten rid of, because the bad history is there to remind us of bad things and try not to make those bad things happen again. But people in power, what's happened in this country, there was a time when my father was in high school where his father could work and make enough money that his mother could stay home and teach the children the morals that they had as parents. And the father would work and he could support the whole family. Mom was home for the kids, which made the children much more better. Who can better teach your children your morals than you? Nobody. And there was a time one parent could make enough to do that, and then the other parent would fucking be able to work and feed and support the family. Well, what happened is the people that run things and rule things, two things happen. Number one, they got more greedy. See, we're really all slaves. We're all worker bees. For any society to function, there's a lot of shit work down low that has to be done. And you have to have human beings to do that. They're going to robots now. But they gave you enough where one parent could support the family. And then they got greedier up top. And it's twofold. They got greedier up top, so almost all the money goes up top now. They give us enough to barely tread water and pay the bills. And you got mom and dad both working, running their asses off, you know. And you get just enough to barely get by. Then you got the parent-teacher meetings, you got the kids' sports and everything else where you're running to, and it's designed that way to keep you distracted. The biggest gangsters in this country are the ones that are running it, and they want you distracted. The last thing they want is for you to focus on what they're doing. So they keep you running fast, just trying to tread water. And the other thing they do is they pit you against each other. They tell you black, white, you know. Got to say everything's racist. Everything's racist. I've met racists in every color, but I don't know many white people that are racist, and I know a lot of white people. You know, it's really, they keep you going at each other, and then conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, and people, they buy into that. They believe what they hear on TV. They don't do their own homework. Shit, I established a couple weeks ago, 23 to 28% of California high school graduates cannot read or write. That's the statistics. They want you that way too. That way you can't educate yourself. You have to believe what they tell you, because you can't get it and do any research and find out what the truth is yourself. It's all by design. They'd rather have you going at each other than paying attention to them and fucking up their gravy train. And that's the truth of it all. Right there. It's the truth of it all. You can go back and look at videos of Donald Trump on The View. Barbara Walters introducing them. This is my friend Donald J. Trump. Whoopi, all of them love Donald Trump. He was a blue dog Democrat almost his whole life. He used to donate big money to the Democratic Party. And they loved him. And then when he come down that escalator and he said he's going to run for president, then it was the big joke. Everybody's laughing about it, thought it was hilarious. But then something nobody expected, not even me, happened. He got elected. And if you look back on the dates and everything, as soon as he got elected, they lost their minds. They went crazy. Because now, Donald Trump wasn't one of the in crowd. If you look into it, you will find, and you can fact check me on this. You can fact check Judge Joe Brown on this. George Bush Sr. knew Barack Obama when Barack Obama was a little boy. George Bush Sr. knew Bill and Hillary Clinton way back in the day, like around their high school or their college years. They all have the same agenda. So it doesn't matter if a Republican or a Democrat gets elected, because they got the same agenda. And they agree to push the same agenda for the betterment of each other and their families and their friends. It's let's take turns being president. And it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton's turn being president. If you're honest with yourselves, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and you look at all the fraud that's coming up, These people been making hand over fist money. See, most Americans, they really want to believe that the good guys are always good guys, and they're not. They're not. My brothers both have master's degrees. They both worked for Boeing. And everything I said was going on, it turns out it was going on. Everything they said wasn't going on was. And at first I was like, man, a master's degree sure as hell ain't what it's supposed to be. It ain't what it used to be. And that's true to a certain extent. But I don't ever scoff at education, ever. Some of the stuff they're teaching now I scoff at. When you got over a quarter of the children that graduated from high school in California can't read or write, you need to start teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic again and leave the morality to mom and dad at home where it belongs. But I'm not going to get into all that. But people that run things, they want you stupid. That way you got to believe what they say. You can't find out for yourself what's really going on. But they keep the pot stirred. They keep it stirred, and they keep people going at each other, because that way they're not focused on them. Look at slavery. I use this as an example all the time because everybody wants to talk about it all the time. In Mississippi, at one time there were more slaves than there were white people. And that just terrified the slave master. So what did he do? He told the house slave, guess what, man? You're better and you're above the yard slave. And he told the yard slave, guess what? You're better than and you're above the field slave. And it kept the slaves, it created animosity between them. And they do the same thing with us Americans. They keep you going at each other, and most Americans, I love my country and I love my American countrymen and women, but most people are sheep. They just go, meh, and they believe what they're told. And they spend all their times attacking each other instead of doing what you should do, and that's hold your elected officials accountable. Stop believing that the news media is honest anymore, because they're not. It's propaganda. You'll get more real what's going on the internet any more than you will on the mainstream media. They're pushing agendas, and see, I don't care about Republican and Democrat. At one time I did. I voted Democrat my whole life. I voted for Barack Obama the very first time he ran for president, because I bought into all that hope and change. I thought maybe this ain't going to be like East St. Louis and every other city that gets black people in there, and I think, man, maybe they'll do something for their people. They never do. They enrich themselves. But I brought in all that hope and change bullshit from Barack Obama. He's a very charismatic man. He had me believing he was going to bring us all together, and he was going to do good things for not only his people, but for the whole country. That's why I wish Tupac wouldn't have died. I saw Tupac as so much more than a rapper. I saw Tupac as a philosopher, a deep, deep thinker. I think in time he would have done something to try to make things better in the inner cities and shit. And there's ways to do that without being radical. But no, you fact check me on the Trump thing. Judge Joe Brown, Barack Obama's stepfather was the 5th richest man in the world. His name's Sartoro. He was in charge of the death squads over there in the Middle East. And George Bush Sr. would go through him to get some things done when he was the head of the CIA. Barack Obama was just a little bitty boy then. They all know each other. It's like in high school. I don't know if it's still that way, but whenever I went to high school, you had an in crowd. The cool kids, you know. Everybody wanted to be part of the in crowd except for me and Nate. We was over smoking doobies in the stadium, but you got that in crowd. And Donald Trump ain't part of that inner circle. And when you got somebody that ain't part of the inner circle in there, it fucks up what you normally do. You can't do what you normally do when they're there because they're not part of the hush-hush circle. And stuff's starting to come out, and I've been watching lately. People waking up a little bit. There's a channel called Righteous Perspective I've been watching. And I'm not going to comment on what it's like to be a black man in America because I'm not a black man. But they're all black. My best friend's black. But, you know, they don't. It's like that Steven, what's his name? He used to be ESPN. He used to be a sports commentator. He does a lot of political commentating now. Stephen A. Smith or Stephen Smith. But I like him because I don't agree on everything he says politically. But the man does his homework, and he'll call either side out if he thinks they're wrong. And that's how we should all be as Americans. They have allowed us to become, they've militarized us against each other. And there's only one reason they do that. It's because they know you're sheep, and that they can do that, and you're going to go at each other and not focus on them. But I'm up off here. What are you doing?
Letting the puppies go potty.
I'll talk to you guys later. Try and have a good night. Peace out.